Tonight we're talking about the plug-in pistol. This is chapter 8 in your first year of network marketing. We've only got this chapter and one more. And I think this is a super great topic tonight because as we start to build our team, you know, especially with all of the internet capability, you know, Zoom and all of that, it's so easy to have people join your team all over the world. So what do you do with them, right? And sometimes people think, oh, I'm just going to plug them into what's going on, you know, in that local area. And, you know, it is something to be thinking about because sometimes you just don't want to do that. You want to definitely do your due diligence in finding out what those events are, who's running that, make that phone call. And the best way is to just go out there and get people started. So before I go into kind of some of the things I want to talk about this, what were some of your guys' ahas from unloading the plug-in pistol?
I think for me, one thing that I guess I never really thought a whole lot about this, but because I was just thinking, like, I have a gal that, I mean, I don't know if she'll ever get on it, but anyways, she was here and then her husband got transferred. He's working for the Arizona Cardinal football team down there. And so it's just been kind of craziness, but I know, like, Reagan, you're going down there next weekend. And so I thought she wasn't able to make it to the events here. So I thought, well, maybe that would be a great place for her to go. And I just never think about this community as like, there's this whole thing about people stealing your people away from you, and you just need to be careful about that. And I'm like, I don't know. That just threw me a little bit because I just didn't think of it that way. So now I'm like, I don't know. Do I tell her to go?
Well, I'm going to be there. So yes, of course.
No, I know. But I mean, but there's going to be a lot of people. You don't even know who she is. I mean, there would be no way for you to know who she is. Do you see what I'm saying? So
well, yeah,
anyway.
A three-way call before I go, and then I would meet her there.
Yeah. Okay. But anyways, I just, to me, that was a little, I mean, I guess I could see it happening, but that really just threw me a little bit because I just never felt like, that's just never been a fear of mine, even after this many years. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think most people are great in the Juice Plus community, but you know, it does happen sometimes. So, you know, I do think you want to make sure that you're not just haphazardly descending to any random event. Now, in this case, Jennifer, you know, you have team members down there. You've got Sue and Judy and Sarah, and I'll be down there. And so, you know, that would be somebody that you may want to connect her with. And I'm sure any of those people would be happy to sit with her and take care of her. I mean, that's how you would do that, right?
Right.
But hey, you know what? We've got somebody here on our team that was sent to an event by somebody else, and she decided she didn't like that person because she liked everybody else better. And that would be Ellen Graham is here. So we didn't steal her away.
Yeah, I was going to say she made a decision, but that's different.
However, what would have happened if that person had flown out here and gone to that event with her? We wouldn't have her, right?
Well, if she didn't like her, though, she would have come with us no matter what, right?
It was a guy, but anyway.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. But see, that's the thing is that, and that person didn't follow back up with her. There was a lot of other factors to it. But, you know, still, you want to make sure that, I mean, I just had somebody that was on our team who I was talking to about getting restarted. She forgot to renew. Somebody just stole her. So, you know. It does happen, not very often, but it does happen.
Yes.
So what's the best way to get somebody, if you're going to do a long distance startup, what's the best way to get them started, in your opinion?
In my opinion?
Yeah, anybody else?
Well, I mean, I would want to do it. I was just thinking exposure-wise to get them to an event, if, you know, that would be local in their area. I thought it would be nice to have somebody go there if they could. Otherwise, you're going to try to keep it on a Zoom call or, you know, a Zoom event or whatever, and you keep it within you. But I mean, as far as training them, I would never send them to someone else to have them trained.
Right. Unless it was like a corporate sponsored event. And even then, you would want to make sure you got a hold of the event host and see if they would need to welcome your person there.
Right.
Oh, and pay the fee and all of that so that they knew. Right?
Sure.
So it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. What other ahas did you guys get from this?
Hey, I was going to say, some of it seems a little bit obsolete now in the sense that because we have Zoom, it's so convenient. You can
Yeah.
create a webinar, a Zoom, and do live trainings anywhere in the world with people. So I wouldn't feel as, I think until you've met with people on a weekly basis over maybe 3 or 4 months, then, then they might want to explore what other things are available in their area, events to go to and things like that that might stimulate training. But between our Zoom event or us being able to do our own training on Zoom or wherever or Skype or whatever, you've got all these summits now. You've got
The corporate sponsor.
regional things. You've got obviously the JP Live. So it's sort of, I don't know. That was my takeaway really from this chapter. I feel like a lot of it's a little bit obsolete.
Yeah.
That's great training through this company.
Praise God.
Who are you?
Somebody's shuffling papers around here. Just mute that. Okay. So, so here, if your person is already, you've added them to the team and you're sending them to a corporate event, that's a different story, right? But what about your friend who just wants to take a look at the business, right?
I would still be inclined to have them join a Freedom Revolution or something that I knew had good people on it doing because there's so many now that we've had with the 90-day game, and there's just so many options.
Right. Good. That's exactly right. So you don't want to send people that aren't signed up somewhere else because they may find a buddy that they think is just great. And I've actually had that happen here locally. I had a guest at the last regional and she buddied up with somebody at the luncheon and I haven't ever heard from her again. So I just have a feeling that I saw her walk out with that other girl. I have a feeling that they had a connection and she's, I should have done a better job, right? So it happens. How about the training system? We just started somebody new today on Ellen Graham's team, and it was great because she asked about what is the training system. So how do you guys get people started? What do you think is the best way to get people started in our business?
I think the online, I'm trying to be quiet because we're trying to get a baby to sleep, but I think the online Freedom website, is it Freedom Revolution? Yeah, is great because it's pretty self-explanatory. You can literally send somebody there and you don't have to, sometimes I send people places and I have to give them direction. I feel like, it's like getting started. It's so easy. So I think that's been really, really simple and a really easy way. But I am starting 4 new stylists from the salon that I work in. And I'm making it extra simple for them just because they aren't even sure that they, are diving head first in. They just want to be able to share it with their customers. And I just want to get them started. Super simple and make it not feel like it's another job for them. So we just went through the booklet, just shared the basic info, talked about fruits and vegetables. And so I think it can even be more simple than even, the website is great. So I don't want to take away from that, but.
Yep, that's good. Anybody else?
Mission-driven model. I love the mission-driven model. So
yeah, that works too. Some of the same information, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys saw that that's an update. It's new. It's a mission-driven.info now is what the website is. So here's the thing is that I think that the most important thing is when you guys get somebody started is the first thing is to find out what is it, what do they see for themselves, right? So, and I like to know that before we sign the application. So like on today's call, I said, what do you see for yourself? And it was great for that person to be able to voice what they wanted, right? And she's wanting some time freedom and some more money. and maybe a way to get out of her job. So we could talk about that. So once we put her in the system, so here's something, a little tip for you guys. I like to take people's order before I take their distributor information. I can't tell you how many times I've taken down their distributor information and went and then said, and what did you want to order? And they wanted to wait. And I won't sign somebody up unless they're ordering a product.
Yeah.
Usually the capsules. So at least. So I made an exception on that a few weeks ago, and it's biting me. It's just you don't want to do that. Okay. So I always take their order first. What do you want to get started with? And then I say, what's your social security and all of that. The next thing I like to do is to send them to the Freedom Revolution website, have them take through that. And I have a call with them the next day where, and I send them a little email that tells them to look for their login and password that's coming from Juice Plus, and gives them a few little instructions on how to set up their banking and all of that. And then I do a getting started call the next day with them, or the day or two, to give them time to kind of get through that. And I can post up for you guys what I send to them. It's all linked on Team Healthy Bodies USA, by the way. I have them in our Facebook group. I'll have them get on Voxer. And then when I do the getting started call, we kind of run through and make sure they got everything they needed to get done. But then I say to them, I want to show you what you can do with this, and then you can decide what you want to do with this. Okay? And that's a really important step. I got to make sure I'm going to meet somebody here. Don't know who that is.
Richard doesn't have a mute button in.
Richard, it might be you. I don't know. Kind of making funny noises. Or Ellen, it might be you, actually. Okay. So anyway, I like to do a little getting started call, show them what they can do with it, and then they can decide what they want to do with it. So what I do is I actually walk them into the Freedom Revolution website and take them in the back door so they can see that. And I go through the first 3 bonuses just in brief with them of what they can do, and then give them kind of a bigger picture. You can click on where it shows the PDC chart and where they can keep track of all of that. And then I just share my story. So I'm going to give them a 50,000 foot view of the entire marketing plan and tell them they can go watch that video with Julie Herbst, which is awesome. But I want them to know what our next steps are. And then the next thing is to find out, when they decided to get started, who did they think of that would benefit from eating Juice Plus or adding Juice Plus to their diet? And I have a piece of paper, and I'm like, and who else, and who else, and who else, okay, until they run out of who else's, okay? So that's where we're going to start. And I have them start thinking about, who would they like to share with first? How would we like to share with them? So if all of those people are in town, then my goal before I get off that call is to have 2 live events or Zoom events that are out of town with them within the next week or 2. Okay. And the reason I do 2 is because when they invite for those events, people like choices. Okay. So if I call somebody and I say, hey, can you come Friday? I'm having this get together, and they can't come. And then I set up another one and I call them and they can't come. I'm probably not going to call them a 3rd time. Do you guys think? You're going to feel kind of like, oh, I keep inviting and they don't want to come. But if I have 2 set up and I can say, look, I'm so excited about what I'm doing. I'm having 2 get-togethers, one either Friday night or Saturday morning, which works better for you. You'll find that most people will slot right into one of those events. And if they can't come, then we teach them, don't worry about the people that can't come. The can't comes, usually you can say, hey, free to wait till the next one. Can you and I just go for coffee? Or could we meet on Zoom with, the gal that helped me get started, okay? So does that make sense? So that's the number one thing, is to get them started. They don't need to know everything about everything, because it's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. We want to keep it super simple, and we want to help them start making some money and being able to have their family and their friends get started. And then what I do is I do a touch base, I call it a touch base call instead of a coaching call, a touch base call once a week, and help until they get through a virtual franchisee, and or until they don't want to, they're not really participating. If they're not participating, I just kind of allow them to be where they are. But if they're participating I want to assist them and be there for them all the way through that 2,000 plus, and then reset sale, make sure that they're ready for the next sales coordinator, and we may keep going on a weekly touch base. And then they probably, by the time they get to sales coordinator, probably don't need you more than as once in a while, and so you might drop down to like a monthly call, unless they're just kind of jamming and you're still working together, okay? So I think that we have a pretty simple training system. It's just really just get people up and going. You guys don't worry about all of the logistics. They don't need to know all about all the websites and mission-driven. They don't need to know all of that. They just need to get started, okay? So, and then as far as plugging them in, you want people plugged into the team. That's your number one source, is plugging your people into your own team, because you guys are all a beautiful resource for each other. You guys all support one another, and it does take a village, right? So the last thing somebody wants to do is sign up on your team and then feel like the only person they have a lifeline to is you, because you may not be there all the time, right? They want to feel like they're part of something bigger than you, and whether you like it or not, they may actually resonate better with some of the other people on the team and have a great connection, right? So I personally love it when our team members are great friends and they're sidelines. Like, I love it that Missy and Jim went down to see Judy Lopez and all of that, on vacations. This is so cool. So, so just get them plugged into the team and let the team support them. Any questions?
I couldn't agree more than getting them plugged into the team, because they just have got to know they're part of something bigger than themselves or you. Huge. Don't you think that's why I'm here?
Yep.
And so many of you?
Well, and like Lauren lives in North Carolina. Lauren and Sarah's out there on the East Coast. And one of the things that when you guys first got started, Lauren, it was like, gosh, I feel like I'm all by myself here. So I wanted to make sure that I had a hold of her and could walk her through, getting to where she wanted to go. But also I made sure that I reached out to Tony Branner and some of the leaders that were there and made sure that she had a welcome into doing some of those events. And then the last time I was out there, she had already organized all the sidelines to come and do the event with us. So, it's great when you start to build that camaraderie, even with your sidelines. But what I think the book is really saying is you don't want to send somebody who's never heard about Juice Plus, they're not signed up with you, and just send them to some random event without knowing what's going on out there. Okay, so if you guys ever have questions, just call me and I will tell you. Okay.
How do you find out about events?
So there's lots of ways to find out about events. There's actually an events Facebook page. And if you're looking for events in a certain area, also on your virtual office, you should be able to go in there, and then Juice Plus Insights as well. But if you're looking for something in a certain area, let me know, and I can go in and look for you too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, and here's the other thing, you guys. I mean, we all have people in our small circle and, that live by us. They're, work there, but don't be afraid to sponsor somebody that's 5 states away from you. You can support them just as well as if you were there, especially with all the tools that we have today.
Are we in Canada also?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We're in 24 countries.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Can I, just on that topic, can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
So first of all, I really want to recognize Erica Frericks, who is in the refrigerator right now, but she's going to come back. First of all, they're awesome because they're helping friends who, I hope it's okay for me to share this. Someone just checked into rehab to get some much needed help. And so Erica and CJ are helping out with their kids right now. So this is the kind of people they are. But you guys, Erica is 2 time zones away. And she also had a sponsor in between us. So we always joke that we were like an arranged marriage. We spent the first year kind of awkwardly trying to get to know each other. And out of it has come really one of the most fun working relationships. This girl inspires me every day. you guys, she had a totally awesome salad in a jar party this last week. And she went to the salon where she cuts hair once a week. And she just said to all these hairstylists, hey, look, this is a resource you could give to the people who are in your chair every day that tell you all their problems with, which have everything to do with health and wealth, right? And she's signing them all up on her team. So I just think she deserves like a huge round of applause. And Erica is really a story of thriving in the culture we've created here. Because again, she's in Michigan. She's not near any of us, you know? So thanks to all of you who have just helped her just blossom like, you know, so many people here, future NMDs.
Yeah, and Erica, thank you for putting together the Salad a Day program for our team. You guys see, that's again, you know, when we're all plugged into the team, everybody gets to participate in these awesome ideas. So thank you for organizing that, and thanks to all of you who are participating.
Yeah, there's like 1,700 people in that group right now.
Awesome. That's so great. So
that's the thing I wrote down to recognize you for, and the only thing I didn't mention. Thank you for doing that, Erica. And all of you remember the fortunes in the follow-up. So be following up with those 1,700 people. Imagine if they were all in Austin with us.
yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, so that would be, if you put somebody in that group, that would be something, a reason for you to say, hey, I know you're loving the salads. Obviously, it's really important to you to get enough fruits and vegetables. You know, would you have a few minutes to chat? Because I'd love to share with you what this group's really behind. I think you're going to love it. You know, just something like that, right? It gives you a reason. So when you do these little deposits into your community, it gives you a reason to be able to come back and have a conversation with them, right? So sometimes we have to spend time making the deposits into the community in order to, you know, bring stuff up with them. You know, sometimes it's a nicer, softer opening. So anyway, so yes, you can plug them into anything we're doing on our team without any fear. Our team is protected, and you know, most of the Juice Plus community is protected as well. But train your own people, you guys. Get with your upline, get with me, get with whoever, and do it together, because again, you know, people want to be plugged into something more than just you. They want to be plugged into the people that are up to something. Before we change the subject, I know we're out of time, but I want to recognize Diane. Diane, you have to unmute and tell us. She is in the running for a huge amount of money for grants for the schools up in Minnesota.
I am. Yes, I've been working on my presentation. So currently I have about 25 tower gardens in my school district that I've written grants for. And right now I'm a finalist for a grant I'm going to be presenting on Monday, and it's for $15,000, which would give us another, I figured we could do 14 tower gardens. And we'd put 2 in each of 7 schools. So that would mean my whole district, there's 16 elementary schools. We'd have tower gardens in all but 2 of them.
Wow.
So.
Fabulous.
Did you hear that? It looks like I'm frozen.
You are, but we could hear you. Awesome job, Diane. So Richard, Diane might be a good resource for you and Lisa. I know Lisa's she has 25, his wife has 25 teachers that she's having them come to a class to teach them how to teach with the tower garden.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, and Diane's a teacher as well, Richard. Oh, we can't hear you. Oops.
Should be talking.
There you go. Oops. Nope. Yeah, you're muted. Unmute. Okay.
Now.
There you go.
Thank you. I will reach out. Thanks, Diane.
Yep, you bet.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to stop the recording.